This is the second part of the episode recorded with Daria Avram, college tennis. Please enjoy. So, how did you find the tournaments and the tournament format in there? We're talking about tennis again, as you can see. We're going back to tennis. Enough with academics.
I found it again very, very different. So, like Daniel mentioned before, your individual results matter to the overall result of the team, but they don't matter as much to you, only for your personal awards and personal for example, the NU player of the week, player of the conference. This is something for you to take, but if you lose your individual match, then that's it, you move on because you have to encourage your teammates. But the format is different. So D1 and D2 now have the same format, but this was only changed 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks, sorry, 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So I won't bother to talk about the old format because it's not there anymore. It doesn't matter. But the new format, the way it works is, okay, help me out here because I'm still getting adjusted to it. So the overall is to be best of 7 matches, 7 points. Sorry. So you can win 4-3 is the best you can win because it's like a clinch, 3-3, and then you win the final, for example. That's 4-3. Okay. So now how it works is the team always plays 3 double matches. Okay. And when you win a majority of those matches, so let's say you win all 3 matches, or you win 2 matches and you lost 1 matches, okay, this is only for doubles I'm talking about, then you get 1 point, okay? So for majority of wins, you get 1 point in doubles. Think of it that way. Don't bother to think, oh, we won 2, we won 3. It's the same thing. The idea is that you won at least 2 to get the point, okay? And usually what they're doing lately, just so the players don't get tired, is they stop. Once somebody reached 2 matches won in doubles, they stop. They don't continue the third match. They're still going on. So they will only continue the third match if it's 1-1. If one team won 1 doubles, the other team the other doubles, then you have to obviously have a winner.
And also in the doubles, I wanted to add is that it's first to 6, so it's no ads also. So this was previously a D1 rule. Now it's also D1, D2, and D3. I think D3 not yet. I think I coached at D3. I should freaking know. Hey, don't. Sorry.
So yes, then you can talk about the D3.
So the D3 is first to 8 in doubles, and it's with ads, and you have 9 matches, right? So that means 9 points. You can win up to 9 points. That means that a clinch would be 5-4. And that means that every single doubles point count, right? So we're playing 3 doubles, we can be 3 love up. In the new format, if you're playing 3 doubles and you win 3 doubles, you are just 1 love up, right? Because it's an overall. So to make it more clear, we're gonna review it because we went a little bit everywhere with the questions. So
yeah, and we need to talk about singles as well.
Yes.
So I'll explain the D1 and D2 format, and then Daniel can maybe do the D3 format for doubles, and then we'll move on to singles. But to review, you have always played 3 doubles matches in total, and teams usually start with doubles. That's how it starts there. I know it's weird for those of you who have not played doubles before, but there's a lot of focus on doubles in the US. And to win 1 point for the team, you have to win a maximum number of doubles. So that can mean 2 doubles and lose 1, or that can mean 3 doubles and lose 1. But most of the time, they stop when it's already decided. So if you already won 2 matches and there's still a third one being played, they don't really care who wins it because it won't make a difference to the overall. That's for doubles for D1 and D2.
Yeah, and for doubles for D3, it's like I said, it's first to 8. And they let all the doubles finish because every single point counts. There's also, I think, they might have changed it. Before it was ad. Now I think it's no ad. and I would add that it's receiver's choice. So basically, if it's a deuce, the receiving team chooses which side you serve to for that deciding point in the game. Tiebreak is at 7-7, and it's a super tiebreak.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Do you want to say about things?
And I just forgot to add the set for doubles for D1 and D2 is up to 6, not to 8, like Daniel's. So obviously just a set to best whoever reaches 6 first. And tiebreak is done at 6-6, so just like a regular single set. And then for singles, for D1 and D2, you play 6 matches, and each match is 1 point, basically. There's not much to it. It's regular 2 sets. For the third set, for the third set is where it depends. If the outcome has been decided of the whole overall encounter, then you play championship tiebreak to 10 points. But if the outcome is still being played, then you have to play a third set until the outcome has been decided. And if the outcome has been decided while you are on the third set, you just finish off the set. So, kind of makes sense. They are, the NCAAs are doing a lot of work in taking care of their athletes and not overusing them, because there's a lot of matches during season and you are on the court 5-6 hours in the sun. So they try to just cut down on the hours you stay on the court. So for that reason, they added this D1 format. They also added the no ads. So again, for D1, it's always been no ad, which I know it's really stressful when you're like 1 point clinch. It's something that I had to work on a lot, I think. And yes, so that's how simple it is, I guess.
Yeah, so D3 is the same in singles, the same format, only that we do play with ads. So that's the biggest difference, playing ads. And I also wanted to add to this the fact that you will play also friendly matches, and in those friendly matches, even though the match would be stopped in an official setting, you might have to keep playing the third set because the coaches want to see how resilient you are, because you travel 2, 3, 4 hours, or the other team traveled that much, so that you can get points in, that you can get matches in. Your reserves are going to play, number 10 is going to play, things are going to be scrambled around. That's at the beginning of the season when you're trying to figure out the team. So you might have to play a little bit more. And a reminder, those friendlies are not like friendly, they're competitive.
Serious, yeah.
It's like a friendly before the season between Manchester United and Man City. It's still a freaking derby, It's
That's
still
never friendly.
Yeah, exactly. People are intense in those so-called friendlies, so you want to be at your top game. So don't go drinking the whole night before a friendly, because the coach will see that shit, and you might not be able to get a spot in the team. Every match is super important. It's competitive. It's the US. US is a very win-win-win, no matter what culture. So
one thing that we forgot to add is for men, the D1 rules, the D3 as well, I think, right? That basically you play with net. So the server, if he hits the net, but this is only for men, not for women. If he hits the net and the ball lands in the service box, you play it. So I know this is really weird because this is no normal tennis thing, but yes, the reason why they've done that, shall we explain that? Sure.
There's no lets.
There's no lets for men.
A lot of people were cheating, especially hard serves in D1, and you have hard servers now in every division. You have good players in every division. You could have cheated, like, oh, that's a let, but then you waste them. So to eliminate this problem, they basically you have to play a let, which I know it's strange, and you might get 8 because it just falls after the net. It just bounces. And that's it.
We've seen actually clinch matches, very very tight, like ad. How you don't play ad, so you're at 40 all, and then they served and the ball just barely landed on the square on the service box, And, everybody like went to congratulate that person and screaming, but the other guy is like, I cannot believe this. Like, God really doesn't want me today. Like,
Yeah.
So, it's not something, there's ups and downs to it, but it's just what it is. We're just informing you. We're not trying to debate it.
Yeah. Those are rough. Yeah, you'll see. You got to be there to see sometimes the wildness of things, I guess, because you have all those fans, scream fans, whatever, the people that come and see your friends. If you're in D1, maybe you have more people, your friends and your teammates that are shouting for you, screaming for you, and it's not a classical tennis atmosphere. You're the second serve, you know, it's ad or whatever, it's deuce, and the other team's teammates or the other team just shouts, don't choke, don't double fault. It's like imagine a football or a soccer atmosphere sort of thing. And you're ready mentally, but it's gonna be fun because your teammates will be behind you too. So it's satisfying when they're behind you too. some more than others.
Yeah.
And I know you had issues with the NCAA. With your first year of eligibility, and she's smiling. All right, guys, take a seat. There's gonna be half an hour from now.
No.
Can you tell me about that? And do you have any advice for anyone to avoid those eligibility issues?
Oof, do I have any advice? Well, so I really hope the NCAA is not listening now. I'm kidding. No, I'm joking now. The NCAA does a great job, and they are so involved into all the sports in the US. And what you will get used to them, and always hearing about, you have to do these compliance checks, you have to do these eligibility checks. You cannot play without being fully proved academically and athletically by the NCAA. Now, there's two other non-profit organizations. They call themselves non-profit. Did I just say they call themselves?
Yes.
Okay, let's not go into that.
With a smirk on your face.
Thank God they cannot see the video of this. But yeah, there's NAIA as well, which is quite popular, but less strict in the rules. And there's JUCO, JUCO, which is for college, 2-year college programs, okay? Now we are only talking about NCAA, and NAIA and NCAA are 4-year programs, okay? So the NCAA is the most popular one. Most colleges, a good majority of the colleges belong to the NCAA. My advice to this is that you try and make the best out of your previous experience before going for the eligibility of NCAA. Try to make the best out of it. So what I mean by this, okay, don't kill yourself for that 10 extra points in the SAT. Or I think this is a real mistake, because if you want to study, you can study anywhere, okay? I know all of us want to get into Harvard, into Yale, into UCLA, but, just for some of us, it's just not possible. And, it's what it is. There's so many other great schools there. You have to look at programs, you have to look at team, other things, it's not just about the name. But that being said, I think that if you don't have what happened with me is that I procrastinated, or I just made a few little mistakes. Let's not go into detail. In my last year of A-levels, and just to briefly explain, A-levels are a pre-university kind of a study in the UK only. Now, what you must know, especially for UK listeners, is NCAA is not very fond of UK formats. And I'm not saying this in a bad heart. This is true. There's a lot of UK athletes who have had issues transferring their grades or their diplomas, or just because the British system is so different and so unique in the way they grade the stuff, and their results always come out in August, which was an issue for me because I started at Barton the 11th, I think, of August, so almost mid-August. But the grades for A-levels and for GCSEs as well, for those of you who know what I'm talking about, come out in August, at the end of August. So you're basically, the first 2 weeks, you cannot play matches, you can train, because as long as you pass the fitness part of the NCAA, you can train as long as you're healthy and you're not taking any, dopage? How'd you say?
Oh, if you're not, as long as you're not doping.
Doping yourself and all these kind of things, or you don't have a concussion, then you're okay. But you cannot play matches or travel with the team. So this was an issue for me because I had to wait 2-3 weeks until those grades came out. And I couldn't do this just because of the way the system was. And British, there's no way around it. They won't send it to you early just because you're in the US. They don't care. So you have to, make sure you have the patience and you understand this, and don't put it out on your teammates like maybe I did. I made mistakes. I was mean to everybody just because I couldn't travel with everybody, but it was not really their fault. And secondly, where I made the mistake is that I focused too much on my tennis. And it turned out that the NCAA thought that I was being professional and earning money from my tennis, which is a big no-no if you want to go and play in NCAA tennis. So make sure you know that you cannot earn a huge amount of money from tennis or from any other sport. So you cannot be professional, because in the NCAA they only accept amateur players. Okay, so if you have played too many ITFs or WTAs and you've you won quite a few of them, be careful, because you can say to me, yeah, I won't declare it. They will find out. And if they find out, that's when you get in big trouble. Like, you can go to court and stuff like that. So, I didn't, thank God, like, it didn't go that far with me. But, just be careful with these things, because they're really strict and they're a big organization. And even though they're not profit, they got a lot of money to sue your ass. So,
yeah.
So yeah, that's like my advice. Don't procrastinate, because the grades affected me. And if you don't pass the eligibility, they can sanction you the way they did with me for 1 year, and you lose your eligibility, which means you can train with the team, but you cannot play any matches. There is different sanctions, like they can be sanctioned for a semester, or you can be sanctioned just for like the first few matches. But generally, if it comes from the NCAA, you get sanctioned years, like 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. They never really do more than 2 years, because they know that they are ruining the career of a person who's come to play college sports. So it has to be something like really, really, really bad. And if it's really bad, the school won't take you. So, it goes that way. The ball keeps rolling. The worse it gets, the faster the ball rolls. But in the sense, yes, it's something that is tough. And also another advice that I would like to give you guys is be patient with the rules, because there's a lot of rules that you won't understand the logic behind them. You don't always understand the logic behind some big organization logistics anyways. So don't get mad at anybody but the NCAA. And if you get mad at them, you can't do anything about it. So don't get mad at all. So, what I mean by this, there's all these rules about, random checks for urine tests. At 6 a.m. in the morning or 5 a.m. in the morning, you have to miss practice and you have to wake up early. And if you are late for that, they can penalize you. So it's that strict. So it's not, this is how it works. Just everybody goes through them. Or other, like, for example, you're taking, those testosterone pills that you guys take, like the powders.
Testosterone things.
No, not testosterone things. Sorry.
God damn. That's an incrimination right here.
Taurine, that's what I meant.
Taurine. The pre-workout thing.
Pre-workout things.
Caffeine, yeah. So you have like a limit on caffeine, okay. Yeah.
I know some of you like have lived with those things since they were young. They were taking this, you depend on them almost. But you will go, in Spain it's very popular for men. You will go through this check at the beginning before starting training, where they ask you what you take, and if need be, if you've declared something, they will test for it. But if you are caught with any of those illegal substances, there's a huge list online on the NCAA website, and your agency should be able to provide that as well. Then you will be really, really, really sanctioned. So I'm sorry to say, but you're going to have to start quitting on those things, because the NCAA doesn't take it. The NCAA actually bans even caffeine, an intake of caffeine, which is crazy for those coffee lovers like me.
I'm still taking caffeine. Screw them.
I know, we can say it now, right? Yeah. No, of course, I mean, you got it, but nobody's really going to test you for caffeine a match before, because it doesn't even really show.
And drinks. Like, are those drinks, alcoholic drinks banned in college? That's hilarious.
By the school.
Caffeine and drinks, the most consumed liquids in college. You gotta be kidding me.
Thank God we still got water. That's crazy.
Yeah. Also, if you are cramping or if you need something during the matches or before the matches or after the matches, obviously get some amino acids are really solid. They're not banned. Same creatine is not banned, by the way. Protein shakes are not banned. You just want to go to your nutritionist, because every college is a nutritionist, and they're gonna check to see if those substances or whatever you ordered before you order them, if they are legal or if they're within the parameters of you consuming it. So make sure you double check. I mean, obviously some supplements may be tainted, but if you double check with a nutritionist, at least you can say that, listen, I got a green light, so I took it, and if it's tainted, it's not your fault. And please do not buy supplements from Walmart. They're all fucking tainted. Listen, they have like traces of creatine and testosterone in them, from what I heard. So buy something, solid from, if you're in the US, GNC. It's expensive as shit, but you know that what you're gonna get. So, and one more thing I wanted to touch on is that you said that watch out for eligibility. Obviously, it's not super easy to be eligible, especially if you have played ITF. And
no, it's really hard. They look everywhere, like they strip you down from all. They ask everything about your life. It's literally like getting an American visa. It's the same. You're being stripped twice. Once for the visa, once for the NCAA eligibility.
That's a good point. For me, it was pretty easy. I don't know why. Maybe because it was clear for them that I was a fucking amateur. And maybe because, I don't know, it was clear with the grades too, like, all right, doesn't matter. So for me it was easier, but everyone has their story. And if you have played ITF and ATP and WTA, I know some players that have made it to college, and a lot of them, they go to JUCO, so intercollegiate tennis. It's like another division under Division 3. But the thing is that you don't want to be fooled by the Division 1, Division 2, Division 3 and JUCO, because you don't know what a team is like. A Division 3 can kick the Division 1's ass. JUCO can kick everyone's ass. If you have a JUCO formed of former ATP players, they're gonna kick the shit out of everyone, right? But it's intercollegiate. They have like smaller colleges, smaller campuses, smaller budgets. That's why ideally everyone wants to go to D1. And a lot of people some people that go to D1 top colleges, they can actually make it professional. And they do take that step sometimes in doubles, Virginia Tech, Georgia, all those universities. The best universities are in California and in the South. The best tennis universities in the US. There's the highest level right there. D1 level in those places are top. Yes.
At the same time, it really depends on what you want athletically as well, because it is true that there is like the top D1 academic schools that are super good, like Yale, Harvard, UCLA, whatever. And then you have generally a bigger range of good academic schools that are D2. They are even better academically than D1 bottom schools. Because the reason why that is because D2 is more 50-50 focus, 50 academically, 50 athletically, while D1 is maybe 80% athletically. Like athletics are big there, So some of them don't equalize, don't balance out well the academics part, and they just tend to not ignore it, but they don't put enough focus on it. So it's lowering its quality. At the same time, athletically depends what you want, because if you want to be, for example, you want to be in the D1, anybody wants to, but will that mean that you will play in main 6? Because remember, only 6 girls and 6 boys actually playing in the conference matches, okay? Maybe the ones they know for sure they're going to win, they might put a 7 or 8 instead of a 5 or a 4. Fine, but do you want to be playing the whole time? Do you want to be the leading spot in the team, like you could be in D2? Or do you, just want to just be a great sparring partner in practices, but you don't really get to be part of those really big wins? So this matters as well. Like, you need to talk to yourself and understand it's not a shame to be D2 level. We were D2 level, but I was lucky that maybe if I had played in D1, maybe I would have been 6 or 7. But I got really lucky that I got to be 1 in D2. I think that's a better feeling than being 5, 6, especially for me. I know I'm very competitive, so I would have beat myself Even if I saw that the number one in D1 would be beating my ass 6-0, 6-0, I would still be like, this is, not, I'm really bad at tennis, whatever. So it's also about this, it is true the D2 level is a bit lower, but there's so many universities like Columbia University in D2 can beat half of the D1s there.
Yeah,
the girls are amazing and the boys as well. So.
Yeah. No, those are all very, very solid points. And the agency I was actually working with, they wanted their goal or their motto or whatever the fuck it was. They're saying like, listen, the thing is that we want you to play D1. And I actually came back to them and I said, no, I want to play D2.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of emailed me back like, you crazy? You serious? What do you mean you want to play D2 if we can get you D1s? And I said, because I know my level, because I want to play in the team. I want to be part of a team. And it was a great time. I progressed hugely through the D2. And that was my level. I mean, in D1, I don't know if I would have played with the level that I came in with. After I left the D2 college, so after my senior year, yes, I could have played D1 maybe. But, it's too late then. You have used your eligibility. You have used your years. So make sure you know your level and make sure what you want. You want to play D1 or have a great scholarship. Actually, if you're not in the first team, you're probably not going to get a great scholarship if you're a male tennis player. If you're a woman, they have, because of the Title IX, they have full scholarships. So if you're reserved your 4 years, you probably will have full scholarship. So it's different for female than for males.
Yeah. Actually, now that he mentioned it, if you go from D2 to D1, you can do that. You can transfer after 2 years. You can go either from D1 to D2 or the other way around. You actually, the only time when it's a little bit more disadvantageous, I don't know if that's an actual word, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
That word is when you go from D2 to D1. I want to say I'm 99% sure about this. Is you lose one eligibility year because you're going to a higher university level. So you can do that, but bear in mind, like if you want to do it, like you really don't like your school or you really think you can play D1 and you're stuck in the D2, maybe try and transfer after your first year so that you lose 1 year eligibility, you still have 2, rather than just having 1. But the other way around, you don't lose anything from D1 to D2. I think we've had one recruit to our school this year who came from D1 and is now playing number 2 in D2, and she did not play much in D1, so it can work out that way for you as well. You can try both, like go to D1, D2 school. And I think I wanted to mention from an agency perspective, you guys cannot, and I mean this, you cannot put so much pressure in the agencies that you pay. It is true that you pay them money to send you there, but unless there is a few agencies, it's true, they only care about taking your money. Yes, and you can DM me directly so I can tell you which one those are. But it's none of the ones I've worked with have taken me there. The one taking me there has done an absolute great job. But you cannot beat them up to get you the best, to get you to a D1 if you just don't have the level. And they should be telling you this straightforward. For example, we had one athlete when I was working in the agency who did not have even close the level. And being a new agency, sometimes you make mistakes and it's okay. And people should tell you, the agency should tell you this from the beginning of your level and of your possibilities, because they are experts and they should know what you should be getting based on what your level they've seen in the grades. But there is some students out there who just will not get even in D3 because their grades are like just F's, failed all along. Their level is not great. And agency should be able to tell you that. If they take the money and they say, yeah, we'll get you in D1, if the offer sounds too good, you should be questioning it. But don't beat them up either. Like, okay, you want into D1 and they keep telling you, okay, these are D2 schools that we're sending you through. They send you 10, 20 D2 schools. You should click and you should realize that you're not going to get into D1, and it's all right to ask them, can I get into D1 or no? Tell me the truth. And they should be able to tell you the truth. It's illegal that they don't tell you the truth. But don't beat them up, because they are also human and they are in the best interest of both the agency and yourself. So they are trying to find you the best deal anyways, okay? But don't think just because you're paying the agency money, they deserve, to do everything for you, and they should not bother you at all, and they should, by tomorrow, they should have a deal with you. It doesn't work like that. You have to put your part too. You have to study for the SATs exam, the TOEFL. You have to get the good grades, unlike like me in the first year. You shouldn't be playing professional or earning money. Like, these are things that only depend on you. And if they don't come out right, it's not the agency's. Don't blame somebody else. Don't blame the agency. It was your fault, Now, if they don't get you a university and they promised you one completely, then yeah, you can blame them, of course. But it doesn't really happen like that. They give you something.
Yeah, great points. Yeah, and you see that because you have been on both sides, so to say. You have been for the recruiting side and have been in the recruiter side. So you are a valid source of information. Is there
honored?
Is there anything you want to add to close this podcast?
I want to ask you something. Can we switch chairs for a second?
Sure. No, yeah. Metaphorically.
Metaphorically, obviously. You'll make too much noise. I wanted to ask you, as you are eminence in the psychology world.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Journals everywhere. Published.
Yeah, soon to be though. What would you say is some psychology advice, mental advice that you can give to athletes to prepare themselves for the pressures that you face in college tennis?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's a lot. That's a deep question. Do you want to stop and think about it? I think this question should be another podcast, to be honest. It's like a whole different podcast, but I'm going to touch. By the way, I liked it, so we have to do another this podcast. I think it's going to have success. Yeah, together.
Who, your housemate and you?
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. Yeah, exactly. We have to do another podcast.
We should let people vote if they won't be back or not.
They have to listen. I mean, they know it or not. I like the conversation, though. I think there's some valuable information here. But let me touch on the subject a little bit. Mentally, it's very different, as we discussed in this podcast. It's very different than your individual type of tournament format. Whereas now you have to stay solid for the team. You cannot go after the match and lose your shit and break rackets while your teammates are playing. The team is gonna get penalized. They will get point deductions. You have to be there. A lot of coaches will make you be there for them. Shout for them and applaud them and encourage your teammates. You can't go and sulk yet. Just keep your shit together until you're on the bus or until you're in your room, and then you can let the depression or whatever, the temporary depression come in. So there's the different mentality you need to have. It's like, be a team player. Super important, and the coaches will notice that, believe me. And as a mental preparation is, obviously you're playing with a team, but when you're playing singles especially, you're playing on your court. You need to be ready to show a positive mindset that will lead to a positive body language, because that will feed the team. They will feed your teammates. And I'm not saying that because I'm an eminent figure in like you said, in those aspects. I've actually been pretty shit in my behavior a lot of times, but I know from a coaching perspective, since I'm a better coach than a player, how you need to look like. And I've seen some really good examples of how good mental states and visibly successful players on the court in their attitude, not necessarily results, but in their attitude, how it can feed a whole team. So there's a lot of things that you can do to mentally prepare. But first of all is to change your mindset and where you come from, right? You're individual, but you also have people that depend on you right there to hold your shit together and to not crumble in those moments of pressure. And also in practices, push yourself and push your teammates. And at home, obviously, again, we can do another episode on this. You can use visualization techniques. You can use breathing techniques in the court, outside the court. You can use all sorts of techniques. You can use like goal setting. Again, we can address those in more detail. I think at this time, people are zoning out. Yes.
You think? No.
Possibly.
Oh, I never know. I mean, then I cannot ask my other question, right?
Ask your other question, please.
Okay, I'm actually really intrigued to know more about you. I don't know you. Okay. That's bad for a 4-year relationship. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to ask you was how do you I think this aspect could be very helpful to a lot of us because you only realize it when you go through it, but how do you think, in your own opinion, you can avoid burnout, especially in season, because there's just so many matches or games or whatever, and there's so many other things going on, like a lot of schoolwork, a lot of social events, parties that you want to go to, you want to be with your team, but how do you really just put a stop to those sometimes distractions and be professional about your body and what your body is asking you to do, so you're ready for the next challenge? How would you say it's a good way to do that?
Yeah, so obviously, like in everything in life, you have to prioritize your things and see what you want most. Do you want to be successful on the court? Then yes, you will have to sacrifice some party going. You will have to drink less. You will have to work more. You will have to just focus on do the things that will lead to the result you're desiring. And don't be upset if you haven't done all those things and you don't get it. Even if you've done all those things, you might not get it, as in life, but at least you did things correctly. So prioritization is the first step. And from then on, you just learn how to say no to some things. You don't want to be antisocial. You want to live your cottage life, obviously, because sometimes you can go to a party and just discuss with people, and people are opening up more in those situations, and you learn something about them, and you learn something about yourself, and you bond with the teammates. So it's not about saying no to all those events, and it's not about always staying in and studying, and it's not all about training. So try to find a balance, and ask yourself if an extra hour of tennis by yourself is really going to help you in this moment when you're burned out or tired, or you can't even run properly and your footwork is all over the place, or is it going to be detrimental? And also an hour outside where you can put a little bit of study. Now you're tired, but you can do a little bit of research, you can do a little bit of study, and that will give you time to also go to the party for like 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. It's about trying to do varied things and not over committing to something. But also when you feel like you are tired and you think that you should be studying the whole night, do that. See, it's about testing the waters and see what fits you, because every personality is different. For example, Daria here next to me, she can do 10,000 things in a day. If I do more than 3 things, I'm overwhelmed and pissed. So, it depends on your personality. I knew that in that day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to study, because next day, I'm going to go to a party. So I'm going to study 5 hours today, and I'm going to finish all my homework tomorrow and my projects, because tomorrow I want to go to a party. And I have tennis today, I have tennis tomorrow. That I cannot eliminate. And I also came here to play tennis. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to study today and play tennis. Oh, there's a party tonight too. Well, too bad. I'm going to go to the next one. I'm not going to fill my schedule.
If everybody was as organized as you, then life would be much better. But
not necessarily. It's fun sometimes to be not organized, just to go with the flow.
You know how that feels?
A good question. No, I'm just noticing in you. I don't think I know how they feel.
Oh, great.
I'm just, wow. I have an example. Yeah. I understand.
So to end, can you say one good thing that you took away from your US experience, and then one regret, maybe? Start with a regret, so we finish positive.
Regret. I would say I regret that I didn't have a better attitude on the court. As us males, we mature later.
He was
for me, it's even later on. So now now I have the mentality that you should have to be like a decent tennis player when you're like 18 on the court. You have that mindset, and you really know how it feels to care the proper amount when you're on the court, and to be relaxed, and to be engaged but relaxed at the same time. It's like a secret. So that I would say my mindset. Okay. And something that I take, something positive.
Good one for a psychologist. His mindset.
Right, again, something positive. I mean, I took so many positive things, but I think the biggest things are just the friendships that I made, and the fact that I found you there. I mean,
okay, here we cut it.
that's really big things. Yeah, you can find a partner for life. You can find friends for life. It's great.
Do you have one of those soundtracks? Aww.
Oh, now I can record it. I'm gonna put it now. When I say something cute, I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna cut that and put it. That was a good one. Okay, thank you so much.
Extra charge for that?
Thank you so much for coming and for coming 2 steps from the room.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward for the next one. Yeah.
Yes, me too. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I really hope that it helps your listeners, and it was a pleasure to be your guest, your first guest. It's such an honor. Oh.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Bye. Much love. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Coronavirus.